Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, and today we're blasting off into one of the most exhilarating stories in the tech and space sectors, Rocket Lab, the publicly traded rocket company that's not just riding the wave of the burgeoning space economy, but actively shaping it. If you've been following my episodes, you know I love diving deep into under-the-radar innovators that could redefine industries, and Rocket Lab fits that bill perfectly. Picture this. While Elon Musk's SpaceX dominates headlines with its reusable behemoths and Mars ambitions, a scrappy outfit from New Zealand, led by a self-taught engineer who once tinkered with dishwashers, is quietly capturing a massive slice of the small satellite launch market. Their stock, ticker RKLB on NASDAQ, has rocketed an astonishing 800% over the past year, turning heads from Wall Street to Silicon Valley. But is this a sustainable moonshot or a high-risk gamble in a trillion-dollar arena? We'll unpack the origins, the business model, the bold bet on their upcoming neutron rocket, and what it all means for investors. Buckle up. This is going to be a thrilling ride through history, innovation, and market potential. Let's get started. Rocket Lab's story begins far from the glitzy launch pads of Cape Canaveral. Founded in 2006 by Peter Beck, a New Zealander with no formal college degree, the company embodies the DIY spirit of early aerospace pioneers. Beck grew up in a remote part of New Zealand, where he spent his youth turbocharging family cars and even building a rocket-powered bicycle that he pitched to executives. His professional start? Working at Fisher & Paykel, a dishwasher manufacturer, where he cleverly used the company's advanced machinery to prototype rocket parts on the side. It wasn't glamorous, but it was strategic, giving him access to precision tools without the baggage of traditional aerospace bureaucracy. By 2006, after a pivotal trip to NASA that opened his eyes to the private space boom, Beck bootstrapped Rocket Lab with his own savings. Early funding came from unlikely sources. Internet entrepreneur Mark Rocket, yes, he legally changed his name, and even the New Zealand government. Their breakthrough? In 2009, Rocket Lab became the first private company to launch a rocket in the Southern Hemisphere, a feat that put them on the global map. This underdog tale resonates in the broader historical context of space exploration. Remember, the space race of the 1960s was fueled by Cold War rivalries and government billions. But today's new space era, sparked by SpaceX's founding in 2002, has democratized access. Beck spotted a niche that giants like SpaceX overlooked: the explosion in small satellites, or CubeSats, driven by demand for Earth observation, communications, and constellations like those from Planet Labs or Black Sky. Before Rocket Lab, these payloads were hitchhikers on massive rockets, facing years-long waits or exorbitant costs, up to $100 million for a dedicated slot on an oversized vehicle. It's like using a semi-truck to deliver a pizza. Inefficient and wasteful. Rocket Lab's Electron rocket changed that, offering dedicated launches for about $7.5 million, with precise orbit control and on-demand scheduling. Fast forward to today, and Electron has notched 63 successful missions since 2018, accounting for 62% of non-SpaceX U.S. launches last year. In a world where the space economy is projected to balloon from around $630 billion in 2023 to $1.8 trillion by 2035. According to a World Economic Forum and McKinsey report, Rocket Lab isn't just participating. It's positioning itself as the agile alternative to the heavyweights. Market impact. Now let's talk numbers, because that's where the rubber meets the launch pad, or in this case, where the Rutherford engines ignite. Rocket Lab's stock surged to around $48.43 as of September 11, 2025, reflects investor euphoria over its growth trajectory, with shares up nearly 90% year-to-date and delivering a whopping 780% return in under 14 months. Trailing 12-month revenue hit $504 million in size as of June 30th, 2025, an 800% leap from its 2021 IPO levels, fueled by a backlog exceeding $1 billion and a healthy cash pile of $754 million. Their Q2 2025 earnings were a standout. Record revenue of $144.5 million, up 36% year-over-year, beating guidance and expanding gross margins by 650 basis points. That's no small feat in a capital-intensive industry, where losses widened to $66.4 million for the quarter, up 60% yo-why-is. The company funnels cash into R&D for bigger ambitions. Globally, Rocket Lab's rise is amplifying the space economy's ripple effects. The sector's growth isn't isolated, it's intertwined with tech, telecom, and defense. Satellite constellations are enabling everything from rural broadband to climate monitoring, with projections showing the market tripling to $1.4 trillion by 2030 per Bank of America, or even $1 trillion by Global Data's bullish estimate. Rocket Lab's dominance in small launches handling 6 out of 10 non-SpaceX missions frees up capacity for innovation elsewhere. Economically, this means job creation in manufacturing hubs like Long Beach, California, and Wallops Island, Virginia, where their new Launch Complex 3 is set to open in Q3 2025. But risks loom. The stock trades at a lofty 49x price-to-sales ratio, pricing imperfection amid geopolitical tensions, supply chain snarls, and competition from players like Blue Origin or Stoke Space. On X, formerly Twitter, sentiment is buzzing. Investors are hyped about Neutron's potential, with posts calling RKLB the clear winner in small launch and predicting targets of 75-95. But bears warn of delays. Historically, space stocks like Boeing or Lockheed have faced boom-bust cycles tied to government contracts. Rocket Lab's private sector pivot could insulate it, but a Neutron failure might echo the 2016 Facebook satellite explosion that shook early SpaceX doubters. Sector analysis. Zooming into the aerospace and space systems sector, Rocket Lab's dual-segment model launch services and space systems is a masterstroke of vertical integration. Launch services, powered by the Electron rocket, brings in dedicated missions for clients like NASA, the U.S., Space Force, and commercial operators. At $7.5 million per pop, it's a fraction of competitors' costs. Thanks to innovations like the 3D printed Rutherford engine, the world's first to reach orbit, and carbon composite materials borrowed from New Zealand's yacht building prowess. This achieves 95% efficiency versus traditional 50%, slashing production time and costs. But the real game changer is space systems, now 66% of revenue, where Rocket Lab doesn't just launch satellites, they build them. Acquisitions of component makers have created a one-stop shop, from mission design to payload integration and orbit insertion. This pivot, started a few years ago, mirrors Tesla's in-house battery strategy, collapsing the supply chain for efficiency. Sector-wide, the medium lift market, dominated by SpaceX's Falcon 9, is the trillion-dollar prize, with the National Security Space Launch Program dangling $5.6 billion over 5 years. Enter Neutron, a 43-meter behemoth capable of 13,000 km to low Earth orbit, 60 times Electron's capacity. Development updates are promising. Archimedes engine tests at NASA's Stennis Space Center, a Hungry Hippo reusable fairing for cost savings, and FCC approval targeting a Q4 2025 debut, with 3 launches in 2026 and 5 in 2027. Priced at $50 million per launch, success could multiply revenue. 9 missions alone match current totals. Globally, this challenges China's Guoang constellation and Europe's Ariane 6, fostering competition that drives down costs and spurs innovation. But sector risks are stark. Reusable rocket tech is fiendishly hard, with development costs at $300–600 million. A flop could tarnish reputation, especially post-SpaceX's monopoly. On X, enthusiasts debate. Rocket Lab stands alone in full-stack solutions, but skeptics eye delays. Environmentally, carbon composites reduce weight and emissions, aligning with green tech trends. But launch pollution remains a hot-button issue. Investor advice. All right, listeners, let's get practical. If you're eyeing RKLB, what's the play? First, context. At a $25 billion market cap, it's valued for growth, not profits yet. With $754 million cash, they can weather R&D storms, but monitor burn rate. Q2 losses highlight the gamble. For conservative investors, wait for Neutron's first flight. A success could catapult shares to 75+ per bullish forecasts, potentially valuing the company at $80 billion by 2030 if revenue hits $3.2 billion via ARIS scaled launches and 20% space systems growth. Diversify. Allocate 5–10% of a growth portfolio, pairing with stable aerospace like Lockheed, LMT, or broad ETFs like RKX. Long-term holders, dollar cost average on DIP's historical space stocks, reward patience, as SpaceX's valuation soared post-reusability. Risks: SpaceX price slashing or delays could crater the stock 20–30%. Watch Q3 earnings for backlog updates and Neutron milestones. Tax-wise, hold in a Roth IRA for tax-free gains. Ethically, investing here supports sustainable space access, but vet for ESG compliance. Bottom line, if you believe in the $1.8 trillion space boom, RKLB is a high-conviction bet, but only what you can afford to lose. Conclusion. As we wrap up, Rocket Lab's journey from a dishwasher engineer's dream to a space industry contender is a testament to innovation's power in the new space era. Peter Beck has staked a claim in a market once reserved for billionaires, blending niche mastery with audacious bets like Neutron. The market impact is profound, fueling a sector set to rival semiconductors in scale, while sector analysis reveals a vertically integrated powerhouse ready to challenge monopolies. For investors, it's a thrilling opportunity amid risks. Do your homework, stay informed via earnings calls and X chatter. And remember, space is high stakes, but the rewards could be interstellar. Thanks for tuning in. If this sparked your interest, drop a comment or subscribe for more deep dives. Until next time, keep looking up. The stars are closer than you think.